turn around to the bench. It looks like Zendejas set to warm up.
He talked in the first half about the fact that he's playing left back right now for Marseille, having made the move, Tim Weah, as we just get another look at that effort and went down straight after the shot. But Weah, in his first squad since the Nations League in March, played 72 minutes at left back against Lyon on Sunday. Appearances in the first 3 league games. He started the last 2 after joining on loan. This is Son. The way opens up here for South Korea on the right side. Lee Dong-yong scored the second, bringing it forward. Park Sung-ho back for the substitute, Bae. Kim Joo-sung forward from his left central defensive position. Park Sung-ho. For Kim Jong-yu, the ball played through the middle, Bae will chase, and Dest able to get back there and help it back towards Matt Freese. Freese beaten twice in the first half by Son in the 18th, by Lee Dong-yong in the 43rd. A playoff job.
South Korea, just so fluid, wonderful to watch. The movement, the understanding of players' third runs that are happening well in advance of players expecting to be brought into sequences. And it's just been a real masterclass, especially in transition.
Looney. Now Adams. Innocent wide for Weah on the left. Adams sends Afton chasing across to the far touchline. With the ball through, looking for the run of Josh Sargent. Cross goes Kim Min-jae. Sargent with support over there from Pulisic does well to win that. I think it's a throw by the corner flag. Maybe it's a corner.
And that's good from Sargent. You've got to drag him out of the middle. I mean, he's a player that has had the game in front of him. He's been really comfortable. He's been really relaxed. See if you can drag him into wide positions.
Quadruple change coming from Mauricio Pochettino. Whipped into the front post. Son is the one to clear it away. Balogun will be coming on. See Christian Roldan down there getting ready as well. Freeman is one of the other substitutes.
It just went down.
And Chris Richards as well.
He's okay, but ever since that movement, he was not at a full stride. He reached back a few times to try to stretch it out. It's nothing serious.
When you wash with Snuggle, your loved ones will feel at home. On center stage, at the school dance, or away from home. Cuddly softness, long-lasting familiar freshness. That's the Snuggle promise. Snuggle, the comfort of home.
Treatment continuing here for Tim Weah as Mauricio Pochettino stands giving some instructions to Tim Ream as we wait to see how things look when the changes are made. Tim Weah will be leading the game. Also Tyler Adams. Josh Sargent. And presumably Serginho Dest. Yes, it is. It will be Freeman for Dest, the straight swap at right back when this change happens. But they're just tending to Tim Weah right now. Concern over the Marseille man here at the hour mark. What a chance for Christian Roldan, a late call-up, the Seattle Sounders man. Mauricio Pochettino and his staff have been scouting, watching a lot of MLS games. Roldan wasn't originally named in the squad, but was brought in because of his performances. Obviously, the Sounders doing so well in Leagues Cup of late. But a big chance here for Roldan.
That's what I was saying earlier in the pregame show. Is, listen, would you like there to be more players that have solidified their opportunity in the World Cup based on play, based on coming to the U.S., of course, but the silver lining is that there are plenty of players that have a chance to get into this side, that they can seriously convince Pochettino, and it's not until May that Pochettino has a extended amount of time with players in camp. So I was talking about that January camp. I mean, there are players at home that haven't gotten capped in a while. You come in, Diego Luna is an example. You come in, you put together a few good performances. There's just not a lot of time, not a lot of opportunities to prove something to Pochettino left. Pochettino hasn't said it directly, but I think he's not sure if we can count on yet.
Triple change coming here for South Korea. And it looks like it's going to be a back three here for the United States moving forward for the final half an hour of this one. Kim Jong-yu leaves the game. On comes Jens Kastrup. It's a debut for him. Son with a goal and an assist today. Makes way after 63 minutes. An incredible first half impact as Oh Hyung-ju comes on. And the last change, we'll see Lee Kang-in coming in.
You can hear what the crowd thinks of him. This is a really fun player to watch. Super dynamic, great left foot, excellent 1v1.
Dong-yong was the last player to make way. So now it's Ream on the left of the back line with Richards in the middle and Blackman on the right. It's Freeman playing in the right wing-back role, Afston on the left side. Looks like Roldan sitting with Berhalter. Luna's still in that advanced role. Pulisic here in the central position. This is Blackman down the right side. Finds Alex Freeman. The Orlando City fullback coming on for his 8th cap. 38th cap for Christian Roldan. Hasn't played since the Gold Cup in 2023.
One thing I want to see now with Christian Pulisic truly unlocked to be in that central position with Luna, and you can see it, is just sending those midfield runs in behind. Got to force that back three to make some decisions. Can't just be one run.
Halligan in down the right side. Hold back for Luna. Halligan also a player that when Mauricio Pochettino originally named the squad, he only named 22 players, and then a couple of days later Balogun was added. Luna gliding through, comes towards Balogun as he tries to turn. This is Freeman. Freeman draws it across goal. Pulisic couldn't direct the header towards goal. Well, Dan got a touch, but it's through to Joe. But this is a little more positive here from the US.
Wonderful run from Balogun. Yeah, he takes a look, and this is what I mean about getting Kim out of that central position. Really well done from Luna to hit that first time. That's a difficult chance to take that early. First defender there to make the play, and right after that they were able to recycle, and now that they got South Korea back on their heels and they can counter-press and they'll get on the ball. It's one of the advantages of moving into this back three. Now the disadvantage is going to be the space that's going to be given up in transition, especially wide.
US Soccer on TNT is presented by Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, part of Marriott Bonvoy. in on 63rd minute for his first appearance under Mauricio Pochettino. He had shoulder and ankle injuries last year. Of course, his last US appearance was against New Zealand on September the 10th last year. Today it was announced that Mauricio Pochettino would be moving to be the new US boss as they played that night in Cincinnati. His last goal came in the Copa America back in June of 2024. Back-to-back games against Bolivia and Panama.
Well done there from Balogun. Great intensity there to go press the ball. It's something that just hasn't happened consistently so far.
Diego Luna battling to try and win it back, but Lee Tae-Sok can play that one high forward. Afston down the left side, back it comes towards Tim Ream. He's played 90 minutes in the last 7 MLS games in a row, Tim Ream. Charlotte winning 8 in a row, his side is 3rd in the East. Berhalter carrying it forward over halfway. Jens Kastrup with that ball across to the right side. 22-year-old midfielder playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Making a bit of history today, coming in Jens Kastrup, the 22-year-old. He has a German dad, a Korean mum. He was born in Dusseldorf, but he's the first foreign-born mixed heritage player to play for the South Korean men's national team. From a German youth international who made a FIFA switch early in August. Berhalter down the right, up towards halfway. Kim Min-jae with the captain's armband on now after the departure of Son. Two tournaments back in 2002, of course, the famous meeting in the World Cup in the second game of the group. Also in the Gold Cup that year. Lee Tae-Sok down the left. Picked up here by Oh Jung-ju. Jung-ju, the 24-year-old forward who plays for Genk. Scored in back-to-back games in the World Cup qualifiers in June against Iraq and Kuwait. Beat South Korea 2-1 at the Rose Bowl in that first group game in the Gold Cup in 2002. A DeMarcus Beasley winner. Beasley scoring the goal to win the game early in that 2002 World Cup year. The US would go on to beat Costa Rica in the final of the Gold Cup. Freeman is fouled here, and another change with Alex Zendejas getting set to come in here for the US, the Club America man in his first squad since last November. Replacing Diego Luna.
And Zendejas, in his rare opportunities, has been great off the bench. He's come in, and I don't think Luna had a bad performance. What a tough day he had. Never stopped running, never stopped working hard. In the first half, any sequences that looked a little bit dangerous, 1-2s in the midfield, someone trying to force the aggressive posture, trying to create things, it almost always came from Diego.
Forward here as Berhalter comes across. We see Zendejas coming in. He was asked this week on media duties if he was frustrated by what happened this summer, the fact he wasn't called up to the Gold Cup. He said you just have to respect the decision and work even harder. Carried forward here by Christian Pulisic in towards Zendejas. He's just come off the bench. Can he make something happen here for the United States? Berhalter. Freeman. Ball forward. Picked up here by Pulisic. Berhalter. It's Chris Richards, the Palace man. Down the right side for Freeman. Freeman back in here for Zendejas. Blackman steps in. Across for Reed. The captain's armband on once again. Richards has been really present for Palace so far. Every minute of the first 3 Premier League games. His 3rd year with Crystal Palace. They won 3-0 at Villa before the break. He played 90 minutes in the Community Shield, went on penalties against Liverpool as well. Zendejas just runs into trouble. Has he got the free kick there? He has.
Great feed there from Zendejas.
Chris Richards making his way forward here. At least now we know as well after the Club World Cup this summer that when his playing career finishes, Chris Richards has got a job as a TV analyst waiting for him after his TNT duties this summer. He was with us for the semi-finals and the finals across the way at MetLife Stadium. Great to get his insight into those games.
He's an impressive person, and definitely one of the most consistent players. And this is a really good chance.
Berhalter's ball into Richards. We were just talking about Chris Richards and his impact, and he almost had one there at the other end. 3 goals in his US career. Almost had a 4th. Freeman on the right side. Freeman cutting in. The way opens up for Zendejas, who drives it in, and that's gone out for a corner. Went off Kim Joo-sung. Fourth US corner. This time Berhalter goes short. Pulisic swinging it into the box. And then driven in by Alston. He's a huge threat in the air at set pieces, this is Chris Richards. We saw it at the Gold Cup, singing it again now.
It's one more for. And there's a slight nudge on Kim that forced him to miss it. And here's the look from the goalkeeper.
The AT&T net count.
Good save in the end.
26,500 in attendance at Sports Illustrated Stadium today as we head towards the final 15 minutes in Harrison, New Jersey. Park Seung-ho, 3 goals in 21 caps.
Tactical changes definitely helped the United States put a little more pressure higher up the field. Also risk numbers higher up earlier on. That's had an impact, but also the lack of sun. I mean, Son just a different class in how he makes things difficult for a back line.
The US were unbeaten in 5 matches through the Gold Cup before the loss in the final against Mexico. They won 4 of 6 at the Gold Cup. Chris Richards gave them the lead in the final, only to fall by 2 goals to 1. ...279 days until the first US game at the World Cup. Starting today, 10 matches for the US before that first World Cup game. Mauricio Pochettino deciding to switch to a back 3 here, which he did actually in that Switzerland game in Nashville. Nicely run down the left side here, but in the end, run into touch by Bae Joon-ho. the first 4 championship games with Stoke City. He was the player of the year 2 seasons ago for Stoke. This is Pulisic in towards Balogun. Back for Pulisic, who goes down. Free kick coming here, just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, Balogun, he's been excellent at making it seem like he's going to make those diagonal runs in behind. But just watch how he just posts up here on Kim and just leaves it for Christian Pulisic. Definitely a foul. This one, Christian Pulisic's taken. Berhalter's been on most set pieces, but I have to think Christian Pulisic wants to put this one on goal and force a chance here, and he hasn't had a lot of chances in the final third.
Jack McGlynn getting set to come on, just having a few words with Mauricio Pochettino before the change is made. We're hearing he'll come in for Sebastian Berhalter. Can the US find a way back into this game here? In the 78th minute, Zendejas, Pulisic and Berhalter standing over it. Christian Pulisic. And here comes the change with Berhalter making way. His race is run. Jack McGlynn will come on, the Houston man who turned 22 just after the Gold Cup from Middle Village, New York, on for a 12 cap. Have looked better since the changes. They've looked more threatening, but still haven't really been too many dangerous moments for Cho Hyun-woo, the veteran keeper for South Korea.
This is a great game for McGlynn to come in. Excellent long-range shooter, long-range passer, but just super calm on the ball too, picking up that double pivot. He can dictate things. A metronome that is super balanced, gets the tempo, but it's also a threat. Ball right away.
Richards. Pulisic with a positive run forward here. Christian Pulisic turns. Can he get the shot away? Plenty of support, including Freeman to the right. Tamsok clears away. Blackman. Back for McGlynn. On his debut for the US here. This is Freeman. Richards ball forward. Back it comes to Joe, who will clear towards halfway. Blackman underneath it. Blackman already creating a bit of US national team history with his call-up. First time that Thomas Muller has ever revealed a US men's national team pick. Ream with the ball forward here towards Balogun.
Probably last time too.
Now it drops in the box. Pulisic couldn't find a way through. It's McGlynn. For a moment it looked like he would fall nicely on that left foot, but it comes to the edge of the area, driven in there by Roldan. Free kick coming here for South Korea, and a yellow card will be shown towards Zendejas.
Just goes to ground super late on this one. You like to see the intensity, though. I mean, that is definitely all the substitutes hold on for sure. Zendejas, now Richards, just the commitment to go close the ball down has moved up a level. Obviously, they've got the fresh legs, but you really didn't see a lot of that consistently from the U.S. in the first half.
The Thomas Muller story, for those who weren't aware, was a post-game press conference with Vancouver, having just moved from Bayern, of course, to Major League Soccer. And it's kind of slipped out from Thomas Muller that Tristan Blackman had been called up before Mauricio Pochettino had named the squad.
How's he know?
Muller congratulated Blackman, and Blackman said he'd already left the building before he realized what had happened, and when he got home and checked his phone, it was blowing up with all the congratulations messages that this message had got out from Thomas Muller.
Well, he said not exactly how you want it to happen, but
Not in a bad way, though.
Get over it quickly.
Played forward as it drops down towards Blackman, who plays towards halfway. A double change coming for South Korea. And we'll see the last player coming in with Jong Sang-bin of St. Louis. Also Kim Chae-hong coming in. Being a striker who recently made the move to St. Louis from Minnesota United. Jong Sang-bin coming in for his second cap, scored a goal on his only other cap, a 5-0 win against Sri Lanka in World Cup qualifying all the way back in June of 2021. Big ovation for Kim Joo-sung, who makes way. And it looks as if the other change was Sol Young-woo, who went off on the far side. Kim Tae-hyun, defender, going across to that far side. His first senior call-up for the East Asian Championships in July, just a second cap for him. Seven minutes left for the US to try and find a goal here. More positive second half display from Mauricio Pochettino's side. Lovely ball through from Richards to find Zendejas. Balogun couldn't quite get there. All the way back to Joe, the keeper, who clears towards halfway. Roldan is there. Richards has come a long way as well. Richards gets there in the challenge. That's a free kick given against him. Just one of the last 13 matches against Asian Federation teams. They've won 10 and drawn 2. That last loss was 2-0 in Germany against Japan in September of 2022 in the build-up to the Qatar World Cup. They've won 4 in a row against the AFC, most recently Saudi Arabia in the Gold Cup. It's out on the far side for a throw. Here is our Spring Hill Suites by Marriott. Moment of the match.
The majority of the crowd was waiting to see this player, and right when he got in behind, expecting to see the net ripple. A wonderful finish. I mean, a complete handful his entire time on the field. Lovely finish to get things started.
It's up here by Balogun. Zendejas. Freeman in space to the right side as Zendejas purposely moves forward and puts that one in towards the back post. It's behind here. Arston couldn't get there as it's cleared away for a corner. And Pulisic is now down.
You see him top of the box right there. Just runs into the back of the defender. Seems to be all right.
Yes, have made all their changes. Pulisic is okay anyway here with 4 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Astrop gets it further clear as South Korea were able to defend well. Zendejas on the right side. Zendejas rolls it in towards Roldan. Here's Arston. Freeman on the right touchline.